Hello, friends. A warm welcome to this session. Now, again, this session will be covering a further dimension of financial literacy in Indian context. So, we are looking into uh, to create some awareness on National Center for Financial Education. You see, many of us may not be aware about this. So, it is important that on the occasion of Global Money Week 2023, we come up with some certain issues where awareness is must. You see, when you know these agencies, you know a lot on how to resolve your doubts, how to resolve your complaints, how to approach the authority, right set of authority in reasonable period. Reasonable period means without delaying it. Okay, so now you see in this first slide, you can see session on NCFE is mentioned. This is in line to Global Money Week 2023. The logo of Global Money Week is cropped in the bottom. So where you see plan your money, plan your future. This is the slogan for Global Money Week 2023. Now, the content for this presentation is developed taking the reference from the website of NCFE and the present governing body who is taking care for Global Money Week resource development. And the resource person is Anup Mohanty. So, you see, today we are going to discuss on this strategy, which is National Strategy for Financial Inclusion. You see, this is very important when you're coming up with an agency called as National Center for Financial Education. What is the need for this type of agency? You see, a decade back when I started searching for a topic for my research, I found that financial literacy is a good area. So in the initial stage of my research, I thought financial literacy index was a uncovered area to work on. So in one conference where I attended on this concept of financial literacy, I found many people coming up with the same topic. So that time it was very tough to figure out something uncovered area. So what I did is like I started putting up lots of like queries to various regulators like RBI. Then you have Securities and Exchange Board of India. Then you have IRDA and PFRDA. So being they come under the purview of RTI, Right to Information Act. I posed multiple questions to them on the subject of financial literacy. And then, you see, one thing came to my mind. They all are regulators and then they are spending a lot, a heavy amount of investment is there in creating financial awareness for masses. So, one thing came to my mind, like, is there any coordination between these regulators? So, at that time, I put up a query to your Ministry of Finance that do we have any central coordinating agency for this type of initiative? Are they coordinating? So I have not got any response to the same. You see, that time I thought maybe my question is not the right one, or maybe it has gone into a wrong department. So I stopped thinking on the same, and then you see, after almost 4 to 5 years of time, this agency is there. I don't say I'm not claiming it that it was something an idea from my side, but I'm saying like you see, this thought might have been with many. Hence, you see this agency and regulators are always working towards bringing in something where you try to bring in optimization, resource optimization without duplication of efforts. Like same target audience being catered by everyone, but uncovered areas are not at all captured. So here you see thereafter what happened is like National Strategy for Financial Inclusion is like a policy document which has come into existence which gives some direction to these regulators so as to like go in all different directions when you're trying to capture any uncovered areas. Okay, when you are trying to create financial awareness, it has to be in a very coordinated manner. So this is what is happening here in India. So let's go forward. So National Strategy for Financial Inclusion, the ongoing plan is for a 5-year plan starting from 2019 to 2024. This is nothing but it is actually a process through which they are trying to promote economic well-being, prosperity, and sustainable development. Now you see these are SDG goals. So which is there with nowadays it is common, very common, and every school, college, while they are developing their curriculum or any other thing, you see even companies and corporates, whatever they're doing in line to these SDG goals. Uh, so let's go forward and then try to see what is there in this particular content where we learn about NCFE and all. So now you see what is their goal. If you look into their total entire process, you'll understand that their aiming to bring in universal access to financial services. So financial literacy means you create awareness and then you bring those people into your mainstream channel. So that they open their account. You remember Jandhan drive taken by government. So where they opened lakhs and lakhs of new accounts, and they also converted all BPL accounts into Jandhan accounts. You see, inclination was to promote them. Like these are no charge accounts, no frill accounts where you don't have much of charges. So you see, when you start doing it for people, and banks were supposed to pay it from their own pocket to open these accounts. Customer is not supposed to pay even a single penny. You see, when they're given an option, they'll for sure come forward. When you're offering them loans, they are willing to come forward. You see, when you're trying to give them a solution to their existing problem, let's say some sort of risk coverage instrument like in the form of insurance, or you are trying to give them some financial support to start a new venture, they are always happy to come forward and initiate. Now, providing basic bouquet of financial services. This is the, like you see, it is a fundamental right for every citizen to have an access to all these services. It is not only for the like elite class to have it. It should be there with everyone. Access to livelihood and skill development. You see, skill development is again another important area. We'll discuss in this presentation how government has took multiple initiatives to enhance the skill along with financing them with the required amount of credit. So you see, if you train someone and don't finance them, you don't fund them, you see their training is all waste. If you fund them and you don't train them, again the money which is given to them may go into losses. So that is what is the aim behind this. Like you train them and then you fund them so that they have a better chance of surviving. Next is financial literacy and education is what they are aiming at. So they'll try to spread more of education. You see why this agenda is very important is like almost in last one decade, couple of times, certain big international financial agencies have conducted surveys for financial literacy, for mapping financial like the quality and then the ranking of different countries, and it has been found that even though we are a very big country, we don't have like people may be educated but they are not financially literate actually. So financial literacy is more important. Why? Because vulnerability is there. Earlier system was very protected, was very closed, so rates were fixed, retirement funds were clearly defined. But now we are living in a very vulnerable environment where market factors can play havoc anytime. Okay, rates are not regulated by government, so it is like market determined. So when it is all market determined, so market may have an element of variation, and hence you see if your customer is not aware, they will not be able to understand how their money is going into, like how their money is getting doubled or how their money is going into total loss. Okay, so first you create an awareness, you train them, they know what is right, what is wrong, then they will be able to take wiser decision. So decision making is for what we are trying to spread education here, followed by consumer protection and grievance. You see, you are being cheated by so many service providers. Consumer is called as the ultimate king. But you see, until and unless they don't know the mechanism through which they can get their compensation or how can they report their issues to the right authority is the problem. So this is like what they're trying to do is like they're trying to brief people, create awareness, making the system smoother for customer. Interface where it is to be lodged is made user friendly. You can track, not only you can lodge but also you can track the status, and there is a time bounded solution for every problem. So all these dimensions will be taken up separately in slides. And finally, effective coordination between institutions. Okay, with this let's proceed further so that we can see how we are trying to get something a viability in this concept of financial inclusion, where you see you're doing it for social cause, but you see when it comes to profit making, how are you going to make it profitable, how are you going to make it sustainable, is what is the like important area. Who is going to finance these initiatives? These questions should be there in your mind. You see, the model has to be clearly known to you, from where money is going to come in, how we are going to use this money, who are the beneficiaries, ultimate beneficiaries in this model. So you need to see somewhere down the line regulators are collecting fee from various stakeholders, and then they keep something called as financial education fund, okay, investor protection fund, from where they take out money to create this awareness. You see, prevention is better than cure. So prevention is only possible when they know it. So awareness is very important. Okay, now What are the major reasons why in India we see financial inclusion? Yani people are not able to connect to the mainstream line, financial streamline. These are the certain causes. Lack of income. You see, go to a poor person, you'll ask him, or you try to tell him something on financial literacy, saving and all, he'll tell you very clearly that let me survive today, I'll see for tomorrow later. Okay, so this is very important. So if they don't have surplus, how will they think on, or how will they be ready to discuss these points? Next, uh, not suitable to customers requirements. See, most of the time you bring in some products which are very complex, people don't understand, and maybe their requirement and your product feature they don't match, so hence again customer is not willing to come forward. Okay, let's say you go to villages, there you start creating awareness on stock market, so people don't know about stock, people don't know much about market, this new element of stock market. Yes, they are there. This element is there. This instrument is there. Derivatives. You see, these instruments are there in market. If customer or the person target audience is not able to relate with those instruments, then you see people lack or they lose their interest in listening to these points. Lack of requisite document. You see, some most of the time people don't have documents. Yani they don't have valid documents to open an account. Like you don't have introduction, you don't have a Aadhaar card, you don't have local proof. So you may be a migrant laborer. So in such cases, you see most of the time the people are kept out of your financial system. So you see, people don't having no saving account means it is only indicative like the person must be having some documentary constraints, hence he or she is not able to open it up. So we'll try to look into this dimension also when it comes to financial inclusion. Lack of awareness about the product, already we discussed. Lack of trust in the system. You see, when you go to a village for the first time and you are doing a session there, you are creating awareness for people. People actually don't trust you much. They look at you with the element of suspicion. Okay, they are like, if you go to this village time and again, oh, let's say you do have a government tag with your name and you're coming from State Bank of India, or let's say Ministry of Finance, or let's say you're coming with Gram Panchayat, they people are endorsing your case, then only they'll like have some element of trust. They need someone from their side to take the to take this case forward. You see, if you find people in village who are aware about your agency, they'll for sure come forward and help. I'll give you one example. You see, in one of our block development office, when we visited for asking them for their permission, like that we can go to villages under them and then we'll conduct certain sessions. You see, we quoted that this project is related to Reserve Bank of India. This project is related to Securities and Exchange Board of India. You see, they people were not aware about these agencies. Now, when senior people are not aware, how these sarpanch will come to know about your agency? How people will be trusting you? You see, in certain villages, if sarpanch don't allow, you are not allowed to enter. And you cannot do any session. You need to take their approval. So they'll go through stringent scrutiny process. They'll check your credentials. They check your website. They check on website what information is put on. And most of the time, I tell you honestly, they are not getting anything what we are showing it to them. So until and unless they do have a trust element, they don't like connect to you. So if they see some bank branches in their village operating since a long period of time, then they have a confidence. So now you see here, without opening a branch in village, how to win that confidence is actually a key. Mobile phone technology, internet, they people are using it. It is not that they are not using it. I tell you, whenever we go to villages, I find youngsters, they are very much into internet. They are very much into like these Android phones. I don't know how they are getting it, but they all are very much into it. But senior and middle age group people, they are reluctant. They are still very much reluctant not to be like, because they are not comfortable with technology. Hence, they don't trust you easy. They take time. They listen to you. They listen to you with the criticism in their mind. Once the session is over, you see some of them will come forward, will tell you the genuine points. Sir, I don't trust you, but I would like to ask you a couple of questions. Will you be able to resolve? You see, this is the point where financial literacy is coming in, financial awareness is coming in. You see, what are you doing for those vulnerable segments, to those like uncovered people, to those like the people who need it the most, is what is very important. And you see, such initiatives from regulator through various stakeholders and then various universities and colleges and then people like me who are into this process. And I tell you, there are thousands and thousands of people who are creating awareness like this into rural masses, and they are spread all across India. Regulators are ensuring it like you do have equal representation in every part. Let's say some areas are not covered properly, so they come up with some special drive where they promote trainers to go into these areas and do sessions. Okay, so you see, it is only to build up trust, to create name, to create an idea that there are some agencies where you can report for such certain frauds which has happened in past. Okay, they take you as a fraudster, but when they end this session, they understand that you are not trying to sell something to them, rather it is for their welfare. So when they understand you, you see, now I tell you one thing: we don't have much of resources, we don't have much of time. So you see, doing one session is not going to help. So sometimes what happens is, like, when you come back and you're not going to go back again to that village, so what you did in that almost a couple of hours is all waste. Why? Because no doubt they got something, but that something don't have a follow-up thing. So how to approach the right authority is still sometimes, after some time, let's say after a couple of days, you may forget everything. You may not have the access to the information. Yes, what we are doing is, at least we are doing something. Something is better than nothing. This is the like concept. At least we go in, we tell people, we figure out some challenges, we figure out some frauds that has happened in backward areas, and then taking that information to higher authority is our role. Okay, this is only possible through financial education. Now, next is high transaction costs. Sometimes people are getting excluded out of your system is because of the charges and commission which they charge. You see, in a saving account, let's say you get an ATM, and for ATM you have to pay 250 rupee plus service tax. Okay, so it is somewhere GST or somewhere around 18%. So let's say it is coming around to be 300 rupee. Just imagine a poor person who is having a like very meager amount of saving every month. You want to have an ATM card, and you are giving that ATM card at a price of rupee 30 per month, average price of rupee 30 per month or 25 rupee per month. Why this person is supposed to pay you 25 rupee every month? Huh? That person is not able to save what he is supposed to pay. So your transaction cost may be a problem. So we need to think on it. Can we reduce it to zero? Remoteness of service provider. You see, this is what is the problem. Villagers have to travel to like kilometers and kilometers before they reach their service point. So this is again what is driving financial exclusion, people out of the system, and then poor quality of services rendered. You see, go to I will not name any bank, but I tell you, go to government agencies, government banks. They sometimes, when staff is old and near to retirement, they are very adamant. They are very rigid. Attitude is a problem there. It is not the bank that is going to have a problem. It is the like service provider, like employees. They may be at a trouble. They may create a disturbance. Now you see, they will, if there is a lunch break, they'll be very rigid on to their timings. Will not come before time. Okay, you see, they may leave early, but they will not be coming back before time. Now, and when you ask them something, they'll tell you the timings, policies. You see, this is not there in private sector. Hence, privatization is motivated a lot. Now, you see, banks who have come up after post liberalization, like HDFC, ICICI, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Axis Bank, they all are doing wonderful in terms of service quality. Yes, you see, they are very selective. Yes, they do have average qualifying balance in their account, little bit higher as compared to public sector banks. Their charges may be somewhat more as compared to public sector bank. But point is, if you can afford them, they will give you world class service. Okay, for that service you have to pay a price. Okay, here mainly what we are trying to do is, like in this last line, is like financial inclusion of women is particularly important for bringing in gender equality and women economic empowerment. You see, in every village, wherever you go in, both male and female, they're playing their roles respectively. Male is trying to do the jobs which are related to external environment, female is doing internal house management. So you see, both stakeholders are important, and we are debating on to this topic of women empowerment since a long, but until and unless we give economic freedom to women, it is not possible. So through this act, like you see, we are trying to see what are the various reasons, and then what we can do to bring in this element of inclusion. Okay, so inclusion, literacy, and grievance redressal is the key to what is the problem. We have seen the previous slide. Problem means the factors which actually are responsible for exclusion and keeping them out of the system. Okay, now we'll have to work on it. So now it has three legs. First is policies should be clear. Government policies should be in line and in coordination with various departments involved. You should not have a contradiction between your departments. Okay, so policies should be clear, guidelines, framework, everything should be clear to the service provider as well as to the clients through various marketing campaigns. You see, Jantan scheme, lots of ad was there played by government. Who is spending for it? Government is spending for it. Who is the beneficiary? People are the beneficiary. Okay, or it may be the insurance coverage which government has brought in. So any of these plan to have a welfare for the society at a large are actually promoted by government as a scheme funded by government. Hence, you see, policies at the top should be clear. Communication has to be clear. Once it is being communicated, initiatives by various service providers and various other stakeholders will be accurate. They are very much in written form. Targets are mentioned. So when you see how to check the performance of an institution is like to see how they are performing in terms of targets as well as their actual performance. So if they are on par with their targets, no problem. But if they are lagging behind, then we can take some special initiatives to achieve the targets within timelines. And then finally, we have to understand something on grievance redressal mechanism. Now, how to resolve my challenges? Is it online? Is it offline? Do I need to go to a like service provider directly, or do I need to go to some ombudsman? You see, this is what we have to look at. Now, challenges are listed in this slide. Inadequate infrastructure means we don't have much of infrastructure, or sometimes, let's say we do have. I'll give you a small example. Let's say we go to an ATM machine, okay, and when you enter into an ATM machine, you see scrap everywhere. Means the dustbin is littered everywhere. Next to the ATM machine, there is an AC installed, but that AC is not like AM maintenance has not been done. That AC is not functional, or AC is functional, but the door of your ATM room is not working properly. So it is open. So what is the fun of having a AC when the door is open? You'll not be able to cool that premises properly. Okay, poor connectivity is next. Poor connectivity means internet speed and the quality of internet is not same across India. So in metros, you'll find it good quality. The more you go to rural area, connectivity issues may come in order to have smooth service. Your connectivity has to be good. Okay, so Geo and Vodafone and then these Airtel, these companies are actually helping government a lot by bringing in this element of connectivity. Now you see, Geo has actually brought in this has disrupted this telecom industry by bringing in high speed network at very cheap rates. But now again, what is happening is like rates are going up according to the usage. So that is actually a side effect. Now initially things were good for customer. Now they're tilting towards the telecom companies. Let's go to the next point: convenience and relevance. Now you see, if it is inconvenient to move to a service provider, if it is distant, trust issues may be there. So you see, if convenience is not there and the product that you're trying to offer it to them is not relevant, why do you think they are going to rely or they are going to connect? Social cultural barriers may be there. I tell you, I don't know much about Islamic banking, but I tell you one thing: in Islam, interest is prohibited. Interest means the element of interest that we earn or we gave it on loans to bank. So this element of interest is prohibited. Now you see, if you go by cultural values, this concept of banking, where you have an element of interest, is actually contradicting to the cultural values of a particular community. Okay, this community is a part of your society. You have to bring in a model where they are also offered certain products in line to their value and beliefs. So hence now challenges like how to bring in everything is going to make your system more complex. Regulators need to first be prepared. They should be able to handle it. You see, process is on. Already process is on. Discussion is on. And due to some structural reasons, this process of bringing in Islamic banking is getting delayed somewhat. There are some reasons for it. Reasons in the sense ki like experts availability is not there. Standardized explanation of various laws are not there. Situation to situation, judgment may change. This is like situation to situation. Same statement may be quoted by different experts in different narratives. So this is what is the problem. We need to bring in a standardized document. We need to bring in a set of Islamic scholars. So the process is on. People are already doing their research on it. So once we are having sufficient amount of talent with us and our regulator is ready with the proper management of both types of institutions simultaneously, then you'll be able to see this. Already we have couple of options already in existence, like Sharia. We do have a Sharia compliant mutual fund. Okay, so that is called as, I'm missing out the name, Sharia or like something is there. Okay, and then in Kerala, non-banking financial companies are initiating it. So you see, J&K Bank, the main bank in Jammu and Kashmir, is also having an element of, like, if you don't need your interest on saving account, only on saving account, they'll do a technical change in the account, and then the interest will not be credited into the accounts of customers. People who don't want interest, they can just inform it to bank, and bank will stop paying them the interest on due dates. So now you see, on one side you have done it. What about loans? No, it is not. So this is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes cultural barrier may be a reason which is going to bring in challenge for connectivity. Product usage. You see, usage means if you don't use it, let's say I'm getting a credit card, but I'm not using it. So if I'm not using it, means the service provider who has issued me a card must have a cost involved in issuing card. So if this card is not being used, the person is not getting commission. So how he or she, this agency is going to be sustainable into market? Okay. So usage is again very important. So once you know it, if you find it relevant, if you start getting usage, sustainability of your model may be there. Okay. So this usage reduction, usage, it may be a problem. Yeah. So payment infrastructure, you see, when I'm saying payment infrastructure, it is something to do with check truncation system, Aadhaar enabled payment system, national automated clearing house. Means you see these unified payment interface, IMPS, all these are helping, you see, your ecosystem to have smoother transactions. Now you see, NPCI is a major agency here. Oh, they are contributing into this digital progress of India. National Payment Council of India is a leading agency. So even though you have challenges, people don't know much about these interfaces. People have credibility and trust issues. But you see, what they're doing is, like, not only they're making these interfaces user friendly, but also they're creating awareness so that people can use it themselves and experience the process. So once you have a experience which is a delightful experience, you see customers